is the route that you're gonna have to go, not recognizing like what that was actually doing to my mental health. You know.
Yeah, because I think today's subject we have Shy right here. Thank you
Hey.
for coming. We're just gonna do like just talk about what we've been talking about, like a
Yeah.
superwoman syndrome.
Yeah.
We all have it, especially here.
Yeah.
So I was just saying that the superwoman in our grandparent time, in our parents' time, in our time is
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
And imagine what is going to be in our kids' time,
Oh.
how the girls are going to handle this pressure
Yeah.
coming from the world, coming from the society.
Yeah.
So I just want you to, introduce yourself and
Yeah.
say who you are.
Okay.
And, we are superwomen, of course, women.
Ah,
Yeah.
but that's not something I'm not necessarily proud of being a superwoman. It's out of necessity, right?
Yes.
But my name is Cheyenne Assume. I go by Shy. I am a Los Angeles native. I'm from SoCal, but I moved up here about 5 years ago
Yeah.
to the Carmichael area where I've been this whole time. And I came up here right before the pandemic.
Wow.
So
That's 2019.
it was late 2019, and just kind of thinking I was going to come out here and just learn about all the lay of the land and everything. But as you know, like we were all inside. We were all inside, and I had a remote job that I did, and I was just living life.
Yeah.
And about a year ago, I experienced my very first layoff, and that really had me really have to take a step back to figure out, oh my goodness, like who am I and what is it that I'm here to do.
Yes.
So I took some time off. I enjoyed my summer.
Wow.
Did some education, and I started gravitating towards my transformation and well-being.
Yeah.
I started gravitating towards what was going to be necessary for me to find that healing.
Yeah. Self-care.
Self-care and get back to self. And that's what allowed me to cross paths with just so many amazing women in this community. Yeah. And using my my intentional jewelry that I make to be a part of helping us to heal. Yeah. And to refine ourselves. Yeah. And get back to who we are, who we've always been, but didn't realize that we were, because again, of all of these societal pressures and things that were not native. Yeah. To us in the first place.
Yes, yes. And you shop at the African market?
I have. I actually, that was one of the first places that I came to when I moved up here. Yeah. I got my waist beads done. If I'm not mistaken, it may have been by Waist Beads by Fran. Yeah. At the African marketplace. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that's my place.
Yeah.
I go to for my jewelry, for my clothes, and people say, "Oh, where did you get it from?" African market.
I
on Florida Road.
love this.
Yeah, I get everything there. Yeah. So, I like to support the women right in there too.
And I saw you there this weekend. Yes. At the Earth Day celebration, yes. Which I was actually going to be making my formal debut at the African Marketplace this coming Saturday on April 20th. Yes. But then I learned about the Earth Day celebration and that they needed vendors. I was like, I gotta be there.
Yes, yes.
I'm so glad.
Amazing. The music,
I'm so
the
glad.
energy,
yes,
everything.
Even though it was raining, that rain was no joke. But
yeah.
I was just so happy to be there in that space.
Yes, and it was just a good rain too. It wasn't like just a cleansing rain, so now we can start fresh. Today
we
was a
need
beautiful
that.
day.
It was.
We
it was a
needed
beautiful
that
day.
rain, but the rain didn't stop it. People were there. It was packed. It was nice. Everybody was having a good time.
Yep.
So Shai, so we've been talking about how superwomen we are, but some of us we don't even realize how many hats we're wearing. Yeah. It's just becoming normal, especially for women in our time. Yeah. Especially here in the United States, because it's fast lane we're living in. So, but you say it's not normal.
It's definitely not normal, and so of course, when when I first originally talked about Superwoman syndrome on my own podcast, I was like, before I can talk about this, let me make sure that I'm clear on the definition.
Yes.
Ironically, I got the definition from someone by the name of Permita Unil for the Hindustan Times.
Yeah.
And it's like, what, that makes perfect sense because we know a lot of health and well-being. We see a lot of health and well-being practices from, of course, that region of the world.
Yeah.
But Superwoman syndrome refers to a phenomenon where a woman strives to achieve perfection in all spheres of her life and ends up feeling overwhelmed and highly stressed. Woo!
That's where we are.
And it's like literally, it's like all the time,
Yes,
like
it never
all day,
stops.
every day. It never stops, no matter
Yes.
how many things you check off. It just seems like it is just this never-ending barrage.
Yeah, and I think it's just becoming normal for us. Like even for me, from the time I wake up, sometimes you just pray and open up your phone. Now you have things to do. Like
Yes.
it just never stops.
Yeah.
And and then you're thinking, okay, I have 24 hours. Do I need more hours?
So many times I found myself saying that so many times, but that's not the answer, because if we had more hours in the day, that would just be that many more hours that we're unfortunately not even spending on our own selves and our own self-care, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because we simply have too much on our plates.
Yeah. But how do we even understand that we have that problem?
Yeah, so there's some questions.
Because I just keep going and going and going because there's so much to do.
Yeah.
For me, okay, from this hat to that hat and that hat, this and that.
Yeah.
And it's just sometimes you just want it to stop, but it just even adds up more and more.
Yeah, so I think in order to help you to kind of figure out what you're dealing with, how it applies to you, how it's showing up in you, so that you can also understand what you might need to get out of it. There's some reflection questions you can ask yourself that are going to kind of help narrow it down for you. Yeah. So, do you have multiple roles that often conflict with one another and require your attention
every day?
Are you the one in your family or social group that everyone relies upon for emotional, financial, or other tangible support?
Yeah, every day, all day.
Do you often jump in to assist even when it puts a strain on you?
Yeah.
Do you often attempt to handle life's challenges on your own?
A lot of the time. Because sometimes, you bring people, you go even more crazy.
Yeah.
So you'd rather just handle it sometimes yourself.
When you're feeling stressed, depressed, or upset, do you routinely keep your feelings inside and just push through to handle your responsibilities, or do you verbalize?
I'm a mixture of all that. But I don't interrupt. I really do later. Maybe I'll think about it, But at the time when you are stressed, you have a lot going on. Sometimes you don't even have time. You just have to react to, the action.
Yeah. Do you find, I already know the answer to this, but do you often find yourself taking on more than you can reasonably handle out of an obligation to help others?
Yes, all day, every day. But, sometimes for me, I don't go out to find it.
It's just you're attracting that energy, though.
And then when it comes to me, some things it's so hard to say no to, because it is something that you gotta put your help.
Yeah.
Because there's so many other people, which I'm grateful to those people who go out of their way to help.
Yeah.
But when things come into your way, you can't say no, I can't help that.
Yeah.
So you have this and this now going on, especially in our community. We have so much needed help.
We're definitely I'll tell you, we're definitely gonna get to that.
Yes. Yeah.
And then lastly, do you always seem to come last on your to-do list?
A lot of the time, because the to-do list pile up. By the time in the morning you have few of them, you're thinking,
you're going to do this, and then
by then another 2-3 added up. By then family added up, business added up, life added up every day.
Every single
and
day.
So you try to juggle here and with God's glory that you kind of juggle through.
Yeah.
And get there, at least have something done. So tomorrow you have a little bit easier day.
Yeah.
That's an every day of my life.
Every day, just trying to win the game of hungry hippos. That's what I've been saying lately. I just feel like I'm constantly playing this game of hungry hippos.
Yes, yes. Even just to move a little bit needle, you gotta do a lot.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it packs up again. Now you're trying to go back and fix what you haven't done yesterday.
Oh my gosh, you're speaking to the choir. Like I have
Yes.
this, and I'm trying to create like some type of technical system so
Yeah.
that I can keep track of it. Because to your point, it's like you may start out with these 10 things that
Yeah.
need to get done,
Mm-hmm.
but then you also learn in order to do one of those 10 things, you got to do 10 other things.
Yeah.
to help.
Then you need 10 people call in. Everybody's busy.
And everybody's busy, and
Or they're too expensive, and even with the time, because it's time is so precious. Right
Yeah.
For a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think the interesting thing is there are a number of things that are happening that are contributing to that endpoint of you getting into
Yes.
that superwoman syndrome. So interestingly, it starts with the stressors and the threats.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting because every time you need to look at the cause of why something is the way that it is, usually it's something that's bad, or even if it's not something that's bad, it could be something as simple as ice cream. When you do your research, you come to or the ice cream truck, you come to realize that all roads lead to racism, sexism, and misogyny.
Yeah.
And when I was doing my research on why so many women, why this concept of superwoman, Superman, and superhuman, superwoman syndrome applies to us, is because of just all of these systemic stressors that we have to deal with, of getting paid less to do the same job, of not having, adequate resources and whatnot, lack of support, lack of validation, being underserved, being marginalized, unrealistic expectations, societal pressures that we didn't ask for. But in order to survive being here, we have to take into consideration, because this is the system, this is the current system as it stands.
Yeah.
And so then that ends up feeding your belief system. And so then your belief system is, well, I don't have a support system.
Yes.
Or I don't trust the support system that I have. Or I'm unsure of how to even ask for help in the first place.
So you do it yourself anyway.
And so you're like, all right, I'm going to do it myself anyway.
Yeah. I got it out myself anyway.
Yeah. No, nobody else can do it the way I do it. It would take me just as long to explain it than it would to just, do it.
Yeah.
And then that comes into this reaction of determination to succeed, suppression of your emotions to appear strong.
Yeah.
Resistance to being vulnerable or dependent on others, because you've got this, you got to build this hard shell.
Yes.
And feeling obligated to help others.
Yeah.
And it's depending on what the situation is, you're probably falling into a number. It sounds like a number of those categories.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, honestly, because what I see is our community not getting involved in businesses, in companies, in entrepreneurship, in nonprofits.
Yeah.
That's why you build your community, your wealth for your community.
Yeah.
In that way, our kids will see what we do, also do what we do 10 times, 100 times better.
Yeah.
But right now, for me and you, this is our first generation from trying to create that generational wealth.
Yeah.
And we have so much we have to do with little money.
Yeah.
Little fund, little sources.
Literally.
Spaces.
Yeah. It's interesting because we're in 2024 and we have people that are fighting fighting against what is it, the freedom fund, for us to offset the inequities that exist. And then when you actually look at those inequities and you look at the fact that only 2%, only 2% of funding is going to Black businesses. When you think about venture capitalists, only 2% goes to women. And then when you look at whatever that percentage is for Black women, is I think less than 1%, less than 1%. So literally a sliver of a sliver. That's not even representative of our population.
But at this generation, though, we still expected to go out and get a job. We still expected to succeed in businesses and everything.
And in order to do that, that same 2% number, so let's see, 98% of the funding is going to white-led organizations, white-led businesses. And also 98% of the businesses that are able to employ people, guess what? It's also those same.
Yeah. I mean, it's common sense, like when you have your own company, you're hiring your family, community, and
depending on so for the family's going to have the good jobs, right? They're going to have the director, executive,
because it's owned by people,
all of that kind of thing. And then when it comes to the actual labor for the company, labor for the company at those lower ranges,
but it should be. That's why ownership is important. That's why we're trying to own our stuff, our own thing. Even if we have to work 10 times harder. Because in that way we're creating that generational wealth, even though we still need some fun, we still need some resources.
Absolutely.
We still need spaces that we did not inherit. Or we don't have no bank or to give us loan, and the government doesn't invest in the Black community. What is it? You see what I mean? So what we have to do is we have to be that superwoman, but we still have that syndrome. But you know what I mean?
It's interesting because we're doing all of this just so we can make the money that's necessary to just survive being on this land, so we could give it back to them. Literally, just so we could give them back to it, just for the privilege of breathing at this rate.
But the only way we can break that is by creating our own ownership.
Absolutely.
And our own business, on our own land, on our own housing. So, to talk about reparation again, that is what the whole point of that reparation would give that break, especially for African American community that has not been given that fund or invested into the community. So now, at least, the mayor's office initiating to create a program. As far as what the African American would like to see. What would you like to see if you would be have to create a program that we don't have to, work as hard. Not every community work as hard as we do.
I would definitely say it's going to be spaces. And then education on business and financial literacy. I'm seeing, because here's the thing, since I've really been leaning into the spaces I've been leaning into, I'm seeing there's an overabundance. There's such an abundance of wonderful and beautiful Black women who are looking to empower one another and bring health and well-being. I know that you are one of them with Sheba Farms. I know you had one of the panelists last week. Dr.
Black
Tia, Kirsten, Safe Black Space, that are creating these programs. All of these places that are creating spaces, a way and spaces for healing. But what I'm noticing is that none of these places actually have spaces.
Some of them don't.
Some of these places don't actually have spaces to do what it is that they need to do.
And we need that, because if you don't have the experience, the 10, 20 years experience, nobody's going to give you that space. Or if you don't have, the uncles or the aunts or the brother or the sister or the father or the mother who owns those businesses.
Yeah, and the strip
So
malls
we,
and all of the
yeah,
things, the strip malls that are owned by family trusts.
yeah. So so we need that spaces and resources and fund for
Yeah.
our community so we can
Absolutely.
build that too.
Absolutely, because that's going to be the thing is to get out of it. We're going to need those spaces and we're going to need the support systems, but it's almost impossible to show up for each other or to help support each other if again we're still trying to get those very basic.
Yeah, we try to be superwoman and wear 10 hats.
Yeah.
Like you were saying.
Yeah.
So that's the effect. So now
Yeah.
we're not only being affected, even our community gets loses because we're too busy
Oh,
trying to do
absolutely.
stuff. So the effect of
It's
that
it's
is
amazing. It's amazing. Like even so, doing my podcast with my co-host Tamika Sanders, Dr. Tamika Sanders. Each episode is geared towards women, just like ourselves, that we're trying to help get out of that mode and help to live better
Yeah.
lives. And almost every friend or person I talk to about it, it's like, oh, I haven't had a chance to listen yet.
yeah.
Everyone's so busy. I'm like, the irony that you're literally in it and like
Yes.
you don't even have the time to sit down for 40 minutes
Yes.
to educate yourself on it, to help get yourself out of it.
Yeah. Because they keep us so busy.
Yeah.
It is, we don't have no time. I like to, for me, I am fortunate sometimes. I just, go home.
Yeah.
Just so I can just cleanse, just
Yeah.
get some fresh air, whatever it is, at least break
Yeah.
that cycle and come home. But for a lot of, African Americans, this is their home.
Yeah. Yeah.
They need the spaces, they
Yeah.
need the resources, and they need the fun to be able to
Yeah.
thrive in their own community.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? So when they want to take a break, they have nowhere to go.
Yeah, we should have beautiful spaces that we can go to.
Yeah.
There's no reason for us not to have what we need.
Yeah.
There is plenty of abundance to go around, and I know that we are a people of a mindset of abundance, but we also know, unfortunately, that where we're living, there is not a desire to share that abundance. We're fighting against a very lack mentality, sadly. And the wild thing, when you then think about it from a business perspective, and with Black women specifically, women and Black women specifically, is we're actually able to give better ROIs when we are invested in, because we know how to innovate, we know how to problem solve, we know how to make know how to make something out of nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. Because even when you go, scientifically, we give birth. Women give birth. We're the creators.
Yeah.
We create. So, but you go back into generation, the first human beings were Black.
Yeah.
So everyone came from us.
Yeah.
From the Black women.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, so not having support or respect Black women is not having respect for yourself.
Yeah.
As a human being.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So I know for sure Adam and Eve were from Africa. They didn't come from Europe. Oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when God said He created, human beings in His image.
Yeah.
In the Bible, you can go to Genesis chapter 2, from 12 to 13, Gil River, still in Ethiopia.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The Nile River in Ethiopia, the Kush land in Ethiopia.
Yeah.
So, scientifically, biblically, we all came from Africa.
Yeah.
So, if you don't respect where you came from, your ancestors, like, African Americans came from Africa, the African ancestors.
Yeah.
Everybody, we all indigenous, Black people are indigenous everywhere.
Yeah.
We're the first people to go to Australia. We're the first people to come here,
Yeah.
United States,
Yeah.
go to Israel, even Egypt, everywhere.
Yeah.
But everybody comes in.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? And I take advantage from them time.
Yeah.
So, but we gotta break that cycle.
Yeah.
Because to benefit our community, it's not hard feeling, because our community is suffering. Our people are suffering.
Yeah.
people are walking in pain from
Yeah.
community violence, police violence, from sickness and diseases.
Not taking care of
Not taking care of
themselves, like
themselves.
literally, like
Yeah.
not able to sleep a decent amount of hours,
Yeah.
not able to eat
Eat
the
good
right
food.
foods. When you look at when you look at the food deserts, you look at what's being offered in this neighborhood versus that neighborhood.
Yeah. Who cares? Every human being needs to eat
Yeah.
good food,
Yeah.
have home, education, health care,
Yeah.
good job opportunity. I mean, isn't that what the ancestors died for?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's land of the free, home of the brave, liberty and justice for all.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, at the same time,
Yeah.
the African American ancestors paid for it too.
Yeah.
So the kids and kids should benefit too.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
I mean, it's no, if I'm working so hard, my kids and kids have to benefit.
Yeah.
So if your ancestors actually paid for it for free, and then people like us immigrants come and benefit,
Yeah.
but why not the people indigenous, the people who's been here a long time ago
Yeah.
and paid for it, benefit first?
That's why I liked during the panel that you had that was held last week.
Yeah.
You know, Mama Roz, she was saying, okay, what does reparations look like? And she was saying it looks like not paying taxes. And that's something I've, thought about a lot as well too. Like that doesn't make any sense. Why am I paying taxes? And also knowing that this money isn't even benefiting. It's not even coming to our communities.
Yeah.
The police salaries that are getting paid,
Yeah.
that are coming to, do what they do in our communities, all that money that's benefiting their communities.
Yeah, and fixing the road that does not need fixing.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? I'd rather they fix our community than spend the money on the road that does not need fixing. It
Yeah.
would need, but first we need to fix our community first with the fund, with tax. Oh, it's taxpayers' money. Yeah, taxpayers' money is supposed to be
That's
helping the
point.
people
Yeah.
first.
Yeah,
The kids.
yeah.
That coming after the parents are not there like me or you or somebody else who can be there for the kids.
Yeah. So I think that's why it's important for us to get involved.
Yeah.
So I'm really thankful that I am, knowing about, this initiative.
Yes.
Going to these conversations, taking the survey.
Yes. We're going to do the event too at the African market.
Yes.
So hopefully May 18
Yeah.
on Saturday, clear your calendar. We'll be doing some event at the African market where we'll be doing music, food. We'll be bringing, city officials and the mayors and everybody to talk about reparation, what really means to them, and how are they going to really solve this, figure out the solution.
Yeah.
So what do you think is the solution? What they need to do?
So, of course, we're going to need that. We're going to need the funding. We're going to need the space. We're going to need the access. We're going to need the access and the access to those opportunities, the access to the support to actually fund the initiatives that need to be funded.
Yes, access to nutrition food,
yes,
access to education, access to housing, access
yes,
to healthcare, access to good job opportunity,
access
and
to
business
the things that it seems
America offers.
interesting. Yes, access to the things that seem to work quite well for other communities.
Yeah. And it's a basic too, basic access.
Yeah.
But I feel like in our community, America provides all that. We have the best universities, the best college, the best everything.
Yeah.
Under the sun, everything is here. But if we don't open that access through funds and resources and spaces for our communities blocked, even though it's there.
Yeah.
So that's called systemic racism.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Systemically.
Yeah.
So how do we undo all that? Is through reparation policy.
Yeah.
We need to fight for all policies.
Yeah.
Like, where is the equity for Black businesses?
Absolutely.
Where is the equity for education?
Yeah.
Because what our Black kids are learning, socialism, Marxism, Leninism, they don't care about that.
Yeah.
They care about, home economics, their art.
We're not
and
being
the music, their you know what I mean?
We're not being taught what's necessary for us to actually thrive and build and create, our own. We're, being educated to basically continue to make money for, again, that 98% that is creating the jobs, even though we represent 13% of the population. But we also know a lot of our population, got a good chunk of our population's incarcerated and tied up in other inequitable things. So it's just this
and they
continuous
make money
and making money.
And they took the art and music and all that, what actually our black kids need, they took it out from the school.
Yeah.
So they learning something that is not who they are.
Yeah.
So when deliberately they remove those things and instead of invest on those things, and then they make it somehow they get there, but they still don't even have no ownership.
Yeah. And that's why, again, it goes back to that funding, that access in those spaces, because there are so many that are doing the work. They're doing it on, shoestring budgets. They are pulling themselves up by their bootstraps, but it's all happening in silo.
Yeah.
And it's happening with more struggle than there needs to be.
Yeah. So how do we really, align ourselves? There is California budget, there is the city budget. Yeah. Do we even know how many percentage of it goes to come into our black community?
That research needs to be done. There needs to be some type of committee put together so that someone is actually paying attention to the numbers, and we can start having those critical conversations. Because I'll tell you, it took until this year for me to even learn that the numbers were 2%.
Yeah.
And now that I know that the number is 2%, that's enraging.
Yeah.
Because that is
even
insulting.
For me,
that
to
is
realize
insulting.
Like only 2.7.
We need to be
business.
making way more noise. We need to be making way more noise about that.
Yes. They call it like 10%, 8%. Even the people like who don't even have the business, But the people right now in California, people who can actually hire 3 and more people, we only 2%, 2.7%.
That's the thing, because if you're not invested in, how are you going to scale so that you can employ anyone at a living wage at that?
Yes.
We're talking living
Who's
wages.
Hire our kids?
Yeah. So I think these conversations are very, very critical.
Yeah. Very. And we are, when you look at in every sectors, not only sectors like industries.
Yeah.
When you look at the agriculture industry, we're not even 2% in there.
I'm telling you, everywhere I go, I'm like, this 2% number, that's a real popular number.
How do we sustain 98% of our community with 2%?
It almost, if the number's 2% across the board, it almost makes you wonder, how is it convenient, or is it intentional that we're only allotted 2%?
Yeah, but they don't want us going anymore because if we have 10%, let's say if we have even 20% of us in business, black people, if we can feed 5 people, 20% of us times 5, that's 100% of our community would be doing good.
Yeah.
But with 2.7%, even if we hire 10 people, that's only 30% of our community.
Yeah.
What about the 70%?
Yeah.
Maybe 5% they say they work for government.
Yeah.
5% maybe non-profit.
Yeah.
What about the other 50%?
It's like, and that's the thing I ask. It's like
all mathematics.
Oh, also, so coming from corporate America, 20 plus years, and learning that it took this year learning only 2% of black women are even properly supported. I lived this, but I didn't know that that's what the number was. But I lived it. Yeah. That only 2% of us are getting properly supported, so we can't even get higher than what I was at. So it's just, then it makes me wonder. 2% there, 2% when I go to try to make it on my own. So where am I supposed to go? What is the space that's for me? Yeah. What exactly is the expectation that I should be doing with my life if I'm not going to be supported?
Yeah, and your community cannot support you because we don't have enough business people to support us.
Exactly. Yeah.
You see what I mean? The government doesn't want to support. They don't want to invest in our community.
Yes, but so we've got to start investing.
Oh, it's taxpayers' money. Yeah, take taxpayers' money spending on roads that we don't need.
Yeah.
Taxpayers' money spending on something we don't even know where that goes. that does not come to our Black community.
So I think
Yeah.
what's important, and it's interesting because when we looked at Superwoman syndrome on the individual level,
Yes.
we came up with some best practices, but I think that these are very applicable to what we're talking about today and what we need to be doing to change
Yes.
these dynamics. So it is
Call to action.
call to action. So ask for help.
Yes.
We got to ask for help.
They say, you know, the mouth don't speak, don't fail or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Gotta-
we gotta speak.
We
if
gotta-
need some help.
We've got to seek
Sometimes we gotta fight.
and we got to seek some professional help. Now that could be
Yes.
therapy, that could also be getting, you know, proper financial business education. I know we got to know some people who, you know, are in these
Yeah.
spaces that
Yeah,
can help with
absolutely.
that. We have to learn how to prioritize.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely
I'm
gonna
guilty of that.
definitely gonna have to learn to prioritize.
Yes.
We are going to have to let go of perfectionism.
Yes.
We're gonna have to take time out for ourselves.
Yeah.
Though we're gonna
Yeah.
have, because you can't put your oxygen mask on for
Yeah.
you gotta
For me, going home, honestly, just getting away, going to home and going to in a different totally mentality, different, you know.
Yeah.
And then come, that gives me that type of, you know, for my mental health.
And you've got to find support systems.
Yes.
I've been so thankful and I've been so intentional
Yeah.
with identifying I was in superwoman mode, identifying that I didn't even understand what a real support system looked like.
Mm.
But once I learned about that, I was able to actually start attracting that energy. And that's how I came across I say Be Love Holistic. That's
Yes.
what her LLC is. But Dr. Tia,
Yeah.
you know, that's how I've come across safe Black spaces. I've
Yeah.
come across these wonderful programs.
Yeah.
Because I started to have that language and that awareness of what it was that
Yeah.
I needed. But I also know that there's so much more that these programs can be doing. They could be reaching so many more people.
They have the fun, like we were talking about earlier. A lot of people don't even know
Ex-
they exist.
And they're amazing programs.
Yeah.
Like I was there yesterday for the Sister Circle and we did art through healing and it was so
Mhm.
beautiful.
Yeah. But they
So
need
beautiful.
funds, they need spaces, like we were saying. They
Yeah.
don't even have, it's called Safe Black Space. Where is our Safe Black
It's
Space?
on Zoom.
We need a space
Yeah.
for Black, especially youth, where they can go and feel safe.
Yeah.
It's, you know, so we say like, you know, it exists, it really doesn't exist.
Yeah. But I think, these conversations, and I
Yes.
think you're kind of setting some things into motion, and I know that we're going to start to see some of this shift, because I think we are all collectively waking up. I am
Yes.
definitely seeing it. We're all collectively waking up. We're all
Yes.
I think we're all kind of marching towards the same direction. It's just we've got to get in alignment with each other so we can increase our impact.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Because we gotta take care of our earth too.
Yeah.
Like if we don't take care of our indigenous people,
Yeah.
it's just like how we destroy the earth. you
Yeah.
know? The climate, the soil.
Yeah.
We're gonna stop
Yeah. Yeah.
because eventually it's gonna catch up on us.
We've got to listen. We've got to listen to the indigenous voices. We've got to
Yeah.
listen to the originator voices of the world so that we can actually,
Yeah,
we know where the answers are.
yeah.
But yeah.
Because we cannot be too greedy, destroy human beings' soul, destroy the soil.
Yeah,
destroy
that's
the
not
air.
that's not us.
Yeah,
That's not
we
us.
can't do that. We gotta
Yeah.
stop and so our kids can benefit
Yeah.
from this beautiful earth.
Yeah,
that
we've got
God gave
to
us.
think long term. We got to
Yeah.
think long
We're all
term.
human beings.
Yeah.
There's no other thing. God says He created human beings.
Yeah.
He didn't say He created, black or white,
That-
Asian.
that's
blah,
true.
Blah, blah,
That's
blah,
true.
Blah. Well, but we came up with all that.
Yeah.
He didn't come up with religion. We came up with all that.
Yeah.
He didn't come up with the division.
Yeah.
We came up with all that. So we have to undo all that.
Yep. And we will.
Yeah. But it starts from us taking care of ourselves too.
Absolutely.
We're not being a superwoman. that we can't be no more.
Absolutely.
We need some help.
Superwoman no more. So
We need some help. We
yes.
gotta reach out to, like you were saying, help.
Yeah.
We need human resource help.
Yes.
But they gotta get paid.
Yeah.
Some of them, they have skill, they're not cheap. It's expensive
Absolutely.
to human resource. So that's why we have to wear that super woman hat.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I can't afford to hire my marketing, my administration, blah blah, for sales, for what I do.
Now
so
you gotta learn all these different things,
and
you're like, but I need to actually focus on doing what's necessary to bring the income in for the business, but yes. I can't even.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm torn in different things because if I want to do my marketing, it's going to cost me so much. Yeah. Now I'm doing my marketing my own. Yeah. And have a little bit there in their help.
And this, things are kind of falling by the wayside. Yeah.
And I have to deal with government too. Yeah. Pay this, pay that. I mean, I get from this as well. From the city of Sacramento. Yeah. I get bills from bills and bills. Now that's it, bills and bills. I'm like, when am I gonna end? Wow. I'm supporting you, but where's the money that supports my community? I still have to support my community too at the same time. So we need to have a proper solution, especially for Black women. We have to work so hard, 10 times harder than any other women, especially here in the United States, to survive, to pay our bills, to support our family, and still try to fulfill our vision, our dreams. We have that too. Yeah.
Yeah. We weren't just put here to hustle. No. I'm not here to hustle. I'm here to enjoy life. I'm here to serve a purpose. I'm here to spread joy. Yeah. I'm here to experience joy. Yeah. So yeah.
But sometimes we get too busy to even experience that. And we gotta stop.
That's why I said I've been very intentional about that. And so actually today dropped the episode for episode 4 of my own podcast.
Yes, tell us about that.
Yeah, and so that episode that just dropped today for Savvy Wisdom Podcast is on balanced living, and it really asks the question: Have you integrated your life? So again, it's a whole story that we're going to be telling throughout the years. Like I said, it started with that awareness of Superwoman syndrome. Yeah. Then we moved to support systems so that I could, again, speak up and find those support systems, check. And it's changed my life tremendously. Yeah. Next, it was focusing on self-care and going on my skincare journey. I didn't put any makeup on, on today.
It was beautiful.
I mean, I put on some colorful eyeliner and whatnot. But, I started my skincare journey and becoming, just comfortable with myself and all of my flaws. And then now it's on the balanced living because I just got accepted to USC, where I'll be starting organizational psychology and consumer psychology, which I so intend to use, as we're, working to build this. So, and I think the next episode for May will be on getting comfortable with discomfort. So I'm literally living and breathing and going through this in my own journey, so I can also teach others. And again, there's so many that are doing this wonderful work as well.
And we need you. I'm so glad you are, in Sacramento.
Thank you. So, I'm glad to be here. I'm glad I'm finally coming outside. I came from under the rock I've been under for the last 5 years, but better late than never.
No, it's okay. You're here, and we're gonna get you involved. We're gonna work like it takes a village. So it takes a community to come together. Yeah. Fix our problem, create a solution, and bring people and get involved. Yes. And make sure you do your survey.
Yes.
It's online, and we'll be doing events. It's like 5 of us, so you can't miss it.
Yes.
Dr. Christy is part of the team for the
I love her.
Safe space, and we have Chris. We have amazing people on this, doing the outreach.
Yes.
So
I'm seeing them all the time. I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
But we gotta get involved. Yeah. Everybody has to wear one hat.
Yeah, you can't wear all the hats. We gotta distribute these hats.
Yes. And it takes a village, it takes a community, it takes somebody just let me do and get the young people involved too, because we want to hear from the young people.
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
well. What
We've got to become active. We've
Yeah.
got to. Yeah.
Yeah. Do we even know what they need, what they want?
Yeah.
What is the solution for them? Because they don't want to hear it from the parents. They want to hear it from the people
Yeah.
who's out there and doing the work, so that we can show them
What
access
they've been
is.
brought into.
Yeah. We need to show them where the access is.
Yeah.
We need to educate them. We need to teach them. Like how they say, give a man a fish, he'll eat a day.
Yeah.
Teach him how to fish, he'll eat for life.
Yeah.
So we gotta do that for the youth, but we need resources again for them. We need a spaces for them where they can actually thrive.
Yeah.
Not jail.
Yeah. No, yeah. So when's the next conversation?
So the next every day I'll have conversation when it comes to reparation, because I really want to put out there for a lot of African Americans to really do this survey, because it's important.
Okay.
If we don't put our voice out there, nobody's gonna hear us. Like I said, we don't ask for help, and if we don't knock on the door and say, okay, this is what we want, this is what we don't want, they're not gonna know.
Yeah.
So this is our chance to say, that's why I say get involved. Just do the surveys all over on my social media, Chris's social media. Every one of us are trying to do this. The mayor's really office is, who initiated it, which is amazing.
That is amazing.
So let's do what we can.
Okay.
And then eventually, hopefully, they'll create task force to be able to really create the program that our community needs.
Yeah.
So they can actually get the funds accordingly, their wants and their needs. So actually they will have value. Like we were talking about, financial literacy. We need a program for that. So when people have the money, they don't know what to do. Then we can actually show them how to invest it, just like accordingly.
Exactly.
Now it will have value.
Yeah.
The money, because value, what is important is what is value. Real estate is value, ownership is value. Because tomorrow you have money, you spend it in another business, it's all gone now.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
How is it coming back into our community?
Yeah.
So all that, we need that type of task force and conversation to really be able to really create a solution, long-term solution for our community.
I'm looking forward to it.
Me too.
Yes.
So please get involved, everybody, and support Shy.
Oh,
Let's support our Black businesses, please, especially women businesses.
Yeah.
We struggle, but we're doing it anyway, regardless.
Doing it
God.
anyway. Yeah.
Yes.
Doing it
Yes.
anyway.
God is good. We keep on moving and doing what we can.
Yeah.
And I love what I do. If it wasn't, it would have been hard.
Yeah.
But God gives us that passion and drive to do that purpose. Why?
That's what I'm so excited about, because that's something that, of course, there's the unfortunate part of being thrown back into financial insecurity, but had that not happened, I wouldn't be led through my heart and my passion and my purpose. So,
So that's what we do every day, all day. So thank you. Yes. Thank you. But if you need more information, also Queen Shiva, come to Queen Shiva, get your flyer, get all the information you need, and come and eat your healthy, good, vegetarian, vegan, good meat dishes, and everything, and come and support too. Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
So good. Yes. Thank you. Yes.